A 91-year-old woman is nursing injuries tonight after a fire damaged her Union Village home.
Now, the blaze reportedly started next door in an abandoned building and spread to the woman's home early this morning. Fortunately, she was rescued and taken to hospital.
ZNS News visited the scene and observed the charred remains of the wooden structure and extensive damage sustained to the front of her home. Director of the Police Fire Services Unit, Superintendent Walter Evans, told us investigations are ongoing.
Just shortly before 4 a.m. in the Union Village area, we had received a report of a structural fire in Union Village. There were two structures that we understand. One, of course, was a wooden structure in a yard, and that had ignited first. And then the second structure had caught, which was very, very nearby. Before we got there, or while we were en route, we understand that neighbors there assisted an elderly woman. She was pretty much close to 90 or in the early 90s. She was assisted out of the facility. She had sustained some fire burns. She was transported to the hospital for injuries that have been sustained. And so we just want to pray her strength and wish her well on the recovery line.
Meanwhile, employees at the General Post Office on East Hill Street were evacuated after a fire scare at that building today. When our news team arrived there, we found firefighters doing the necessary checks and inspecting the building. Here again is Superintendent Walter Evans, who tells us what happened.
A call or report of an incident where it was believed that an alarm had triggered. An alarm had activated. The fire alarm system here had activated. And when we got here, we met all of the staff evacuated, which was the proper thing for them to do. All of the staff members have been accounted for. We have investigated. The building is rendered safe from this angle, this perspective. And at this stage, we have concluded that it is due to a faulty smoke detector, which is on the upper level in the post office area.
Superintendent Evans also shared fire tips for the workplace.
Recommendation to all occupants of buildings, whether they be schools, whether they be churches, whether they're traveling, they're in hotels or in other institutions. Our word of advice and recommendation is that anytime they hear a fire alarm is activated, take it seriously, because you never know exactly what is happening. It may be something trivial, it may be something that may be serious, and we have seen experiences, and we can share experiences of persons who have lost their lives due to the fact that they've not paid attention to a fire alarm system being activated. But take it seriously on every occasion. Sometimes the fire alarm system may be faulty, and we can make recommendations that those systems be repaired.
In other news tonight, lawyers involved in the Andros double murder trial made closing submissions today. All that's left now is for Justice Indra Charles to sum up the case and direct jurors on the law before handing it over to them for a decision. Prosecutors claim defendants Zydworn Duncombe, Daniel Coakley, James Johnson, and Cordero Saunders kidnapped, robbed, and fatally shot two people in Andros. One of the victims' partly decomposed body was discovered in a makeshift rock grave in the central Andros pine forest known as Newbold Farms, and the other's partly decomposed body found nearby in a 10-foot deep hole. Darnell Dawson and Patrick Sweeting are prosecuting the case. Two half-brothers convicted of killing off-duty police officer Sergeant Wayne Roll 2 years ago were spared the death penalty yesterday. This after Justice Ian Winder ruled that the circumstances surrounding Roll's death did not meet with the Privy Council's threshold for the worst of the worst. Instead, Justice Ian Winder determined that 45 years behind bars was appropriate for 30-year-old Kevin McKenzie, and as evidence in the case revealed that he was the shooter. McKenzie also got 14 years for armed robbery. The court also gave 26-year-old Dion Bethel 40 years in prison for having a lesser role in the fatal shooting and 14 years for the armed robbery. The sentences will run concurrently.
If you know of a crime, please call Crime Stoppers at 328-8477, toll free 242-300-8477. You can also check them out on www.crimestoppersbahamas.com. Let's stop the crime before it's your time.